the DPS channel. And for those who aren't aware, this is where we transition and redirect everyone over to the DPS podcast channel. We are T-minus just a number of weeks before we will start basically just having the podcast on the channel exclusively. So that time is coming pretty soon. But as soon as Forte is ready, we're going to switch over, and what I'll do is I will put the podcast in the chat so that the link in the chat so that you guys can be able to jump over there manually if you want to. And if you're watching the replay and you look at the chat, you'll see the link to the rest of the podcast there.
All right, so I see that. And edit, customizations, redirect. There it is. Save. All right, and I am sending people over now.
All right. So, last topic of tonight, Xbox prediction time. This is the time of year where we let everyone know what we think is going to happen. It used to be what we expected to happen at E3. And since E3's dead, so dead, and really the only super relevant showcase there is, I mean, let's just keep it a buck. We just look at the Xbox showcase at this time, and then we watch the Devolver Digital freak show of a showcase that's just funny and weird, and we love it because it's, and then we see some indies there, but otherwise, and about Ubisoft the past couple of years, Ubisoft has put together a pretty good showcase, so they do a pretty good one too, but it's really just the Xbox showcase, honestly. That's the big hubbub. And so let's get into it. Let's talk about what we think is going to happen. And Forte.
Yo.
Showcase starts at 1 p.m. I think. So it starts at 1 p.m. I don't know if they said how long it would be, but I'm thinking likely 90 minutes. And then since there is a Call of Duty Black Ops 6 direct immediately afterwards.
Making 2 hours altogether.
Yeah, making 2 hours altogether. That direct's probably going to be 30 minutes. And then for those who don't know, Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, is doing a live Q&A with Ryan McCaffrey of IGN at 3 p.m. And so it would make sense that the whole showcase plus direct is 2 hours. And then they would start that right afterwards, which is supposed to be an hour long. So that kind of, man, that's going to be pretty interesting. A live Q&A is going. Right now, we ourselves will go live likely around 3:45, 4 o'clock, to do our live reactions to everything. We definitely would have gone. We would have gone live during the show or afterwards. Frankly, I'm going out of town for vacation on Monday, and I'm going to be very busy, so I'll just barely have enough time to do this. So doing a live reaction to the show is kind of out for me, but a reaction is definitely going to be something that we need to do, considering we're not going to have DPS at the normal time, because like I said, I'll be out of town, and probably be unlikely that I could get the podcast, especially because I'm supposed to host. And it just, if I wasn't hosting and Forte was hosting, we might be able to still do it. But
no, man, spend time with your family, man. You don't go to Myrtle Beach every day.
True. Oh, let me just sit on the beach on Thursday. But we will give you fans. With you. Oh man, I hope I don't need fans this time. But no, that's kind of like for those who've been around long enough, you guys will remember the story when was I in Myrtle Beach or was I in Virginia Beach?
I
It
think
was
that was Virginia Beach.
yeah. Me and his family went to Virginia Beach. We rented an Airbnb that didn't have any air conditioning in the summer, and so we had all the windows open. And I went out to Target or Walmart, one of those, and bought like half a dozen fans to put it into every room of well, not every room of the house, because the house had a
I
lot
meant
of
to ask
rooms.
you, did you take those fans home with you?
This is so the owner of the Airbnb reimbursed me the cost of the fans, and then I just put them in his storage shed instead, in case
that's even better. That's what's up.
Yeah, in case he ended up needing them again the next time his AC goes out. So,
I mean, that's what he did was reimburse you the price of the fans.
Yeah, more than that, he also took half off of the price of our time at the Airbnb due to us having to go a full day with no AC because he couldn't get someone out there to fix it until the next day. So, yeah.
I bet once he fixed it, it was a dream, though.
Oh yeah, you have no idea. I mean how miserable.
Someone didn't want nobody to touch it when it was like 89 degrees in the house.
Yo, we were miserable. Anyway. Long story short,
sleep when it's that hot.
No, I really didn't sleep that well. But long story short, we'll be out of town, so there'll be no DPS at the normal time. But all that said, Forte, what do you, let's do it like this, okay? Let's do our what we think will happen and what we want to happen, okay?
Oh man,
what do you want to start with first? I'll let you choose.
What we think will happen. Oh. Actually, yeah. Let's say what let's say what we want to happen. We can kind of tie them right into each other. What I want to happen is Xbox to come out and tell people how important the Xbox platform is to them.
Oh boy,
that's what I want them to do.
I don't think you're getting that.
Yeah, exactly. that's more pie. Listen, that's more pie in the sky than them coming out saying Grand Theft Auto is going to be in Game Pass on Xbox. That's how crazy high in the sky, pie in the sky that is. But no, seriously, I do think, and I said this on IOP the other day, I feel like at a certain point, Xbox is the circumstances around it are not good. Because the overall excitement, people say they're excited now. Yeah, it's only because the event is right around the corner. But like I was telling people a couple weeks ago, I'm really not that excited. Am I excited to see what's next and what they're going to showcase and show? Yeah, but usually when you go into E3 season, no matter what, even when Xbox was doing its absolute worst, you were really, really excited to see what's coming from Xbox, especially ever since they had the acquisitions of all these studios. And I will say the only biggest change from last year to this year is the fact that nothing's really changed outside of the ABK acquisition, and that's not even taking place until after the show. So the 90 minutes leading up into that one, I expect to see more of what I saw last year, just with more dates and stuff and showcasing games that we saw back in 2020, 2021 for the studios that purchased back then, updates from updates on State of Decay 3, and instead of seeing a cut together sizzle reel of Fable gameplay, actual Fable gameplay to see what the environments look like and stuff like that. Maybe we finally, I really want to see what Perfect Dark is going to look like. We know that we know that Crystal Dynamics has been basically at the helm of that game for the better part of the last 2 years. So I'm really interested to see exactly where that stands and where we are in the development line for that game coming out. So these are all things that I definitely want to see them pay attention to. But the one other thing is I really don't want them to say the word PlayStation. on their stage. Let PlayStation announce those games that's coming to PlayStation. I do know they're going to get asked a lot of questions after the fact for every game that they announce at this showcase. They're going to Phil Spencer's going to get a bunch of. He's going to probably be asked 2 or 3 times for Ryan McCaffrey inside of this exclusive interview. I wonder how many times he's going to ask him the same question 16 different times during that. But they're going to get asked a lot of questions. Not only Phil, Sarah Bond's going to be asked. Everybody's going to be asked at Xbox. If Satya Nadella makes himself available, he'll be asked about it. So I just really don't want them to say anything about PlayStation when it comes to the showcase. When all of this stuff does come out after the fact, what is coming, what's not coming, or anything like that. That's okay with me. Like I said on IOP, the only one I care about the most is Halo. Halo is the one I feel like is the reason that I bought an Xbox. The majority of people bought an Xbox, and I had some people kind of push back on that and say, well, Gears is up there for them. And I said, well, you know what? If Gears is that game for you, then that's the game that you should say Xbox should never get rid of. You know, I mean, because Gears isn't, I'm not as a whole.
Well, they're not necessarily getting rid of it, but they're sharing it with all the other platforms.
You listen,
it's no longer unique Halo to Xbox.
Right. This thing, we don't share. See, this is the thing. I feel like giving them Halo once again gives PlayStation an out. And granted, PlayStation will probably support the game a heck of a lot because they don't have anything like that over there. But I also feel like it just comes to a situation where I feel like you lose all identity of the platform. Like the console has already lost its identity. The platform is next. At that point, you're just literally a third-party developer at that point, especially in my eyes, because the only reason I bought your platform to begin with is because that game was something that I could only get from you. At that point, there's really no reason for me to, purchase an Xbox in the future again. It's just like if God of War just exclusively went to other platforms, not just PlayStation or PC, I wouldn't buy a PlayStation anymore because those are the main reasons why I buy one. So I just want to see Xbox be very concise in what they're saying. I want the gameplay to speak for itself, and I want them to be straightforward, but I want them to be straightforward to a point where they're just talking about what we as Xbox gamers are going to get. I understand, and I don't want them to really talk about what PlayStation gamers are going to get at this point because this is an Xbox showcase. So that's and I know a lot of people are going to say they should just rip the Band-Aid off. But
every screen is every screen's an Xbox Forte.
Well, yeah, every screen is an Xbox, but guess what? Every screen isn't an Xbox showcase. If that was the case, just call it the. I mean, what would you call it? I mean, at that point, just drop the Xbox and call it the Microsoft Gaming Showcase, because it's not Xbox anymore.
Hey, so, maybe that'll be the name in a couple years. You never know.
Okay, well, when it becomes the name, that's the day that you start talking about those games being on platforms other than yours that day. It's bad enough that they announced. It's bad enough they already announced the games going to PC, but then you start telling people, games are going to console. And guess what? And this whole thing, and man, and I don't know if you agree with this. It kind of irritates me a little bit. People keep saying that Xbox can't sell consoles. And I'm sitting there like, that's wrong. They can sell consoles. They just actively tell people not to buy consoles. It's like people.
But isn't like good marketing and good business sense on how to sell a product, an entertainment product, a part of selling it? Like if
but the difference is, if the way that this conversation is going is that Xbox can't, like, they don't know how to. And it's not that they don't know how to. Xbox knows how to sell a console. They've been selling consoles for over 20 years at this point. The question is, why are they actively telling people they don't need a console? Because that's the reason their numbers are dropping. Their numbers are, people are talking about their numbers dropping, sales being year over year down, mostly contribute to the fact that people just don't want an Xbox. Well, gang, I wouldn't want an Xbox either if Xbox every 2 seconds is saying I don't need one. So it's always this real, I understand where people are coming from, but it's always this narrative that I keep looking at, and I'm like, it's not that Xbox can't sell it, it's that they're actively sabotaging themselves by telling people they don't need it. If the moment Xbox act like, and that's why I kind of want Xbox to come out and talk about how the platform feels to them, because Game Pass, I'm sorry, does not move the needle unless Xbox is a part of that scenario. You're not going to move the needle just on PC. You're not going to move it in cloud because cloud isn't the way of the future yet. And you're not going to be able to move it through mobile gaming just yet. You need the console in order to push it. And Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo are not opening up their walled garden for you to put Game Pass on their consoles yet. So you need Xbox in order to push this narrative for yourself. So you need to stop telling people they don't need one. That's the most irritating thing in the world.
So what you're saying is that their marketing and their approach to telling people about their products is the reason why it's not selling.
Yeah, it's always been. It's especially over the last 3 years, 4 years? No, ever since 2017.
So this is kind of like an analogy that's going to be a little bit outside of gaming, but bear with me.
Go ahead.
You ever see someone that can't get out of their own way?
All the time.
They want to do right, but they're their own worst enemy. They're always messing up. Yeah, and they want to just stay on the straight and narrow. They want to just do right by their family and but then they always mess up, and it's them. It's not anyone else, even though they'll tell you, hey, look, they'll be throwing everyone else on the bus, avoiding accountability left and right, but it's them. They're their own worst enemy.
Right.
But what we never say is, they're gonna get it. They can do it right. They can get it together. We recognize these people are their own problem, and they won't get it right because they can't. I think in a way, Xbox is like that in gaming when it comes to selling their hardware. They have never, now think about this. Original Xbox sold 25 million units. The Xbox 360 sold 83 million, I think. That's the most they've ever sold in consoles. And that's far behind what the Nintendo and Sony have done when it comes to like the worst selling PlayStation sold more than that, if you think about it. And with the Xbox One, they sold about 50 million, somewhere in the 50s. And this Xbox Series X and S is now trending behind the Xbox One. Mm-hmm. Can they sell consoles? Can they really? Can the people who are there sell hardware? You know how we talk about how BioWare can't make BioWare's games no more because they ain't got the people who made the classic Mass Effect 2 and Dragon Age Origins and they in Knights of the Old Republic, they ain't got them people there no more. So we don't have the expectation that BioWare can do what the old guard was able to do. I don't have that expectation with Xbox leadership. Mm-hmm. I don't have an expectation that they can reach the height of the most Xboxes sold in a generation, which is the Xbox 360, when none of the leadership that's in place right now was in place then.
Right.
And frankly, the platform of gaming was looked at differently then than it is now. And they didn't have non-gaming people all up in their business like they do now. I just don't think they are capable of selling it, which is part of the reason why Phil Spencer said what he said. Starfield could be 11 out of 10. Doesn't mean that, I'm going to got people on PlayStation to buy an Xbox because of that. And I still disagree with that. Starfield wasn't an 11 out of 10. But if it was, an 11 out of 10 game would be a system seller. And I think if you had a system seller on your platform that was exclusive to your platform, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. That's just me. Now,
yeah. Well, let me answer. I will answer your question directly because what they just said, isn't it supposed to be a prediction show? And I went off into a rant for a second.
Yeah.
So the things that I think that I predicted they're going to show there, I think you're going to see more Fallout 76 stuff, progression elements into the game because they have to have something to talk about when it comes to Fallout because of the TV show for Fallout. So they're going to talk about how great the Fallout show did, and they're going to do some type of tie-in with Fallout 76, and they're going to hint at more information coming soon about the next Fallout game that they're going to be working on. I do think that we're going to see finally get a chance to get a release date for Silk Song because that's like the worst kept secret in the world with Hollow Knights. Like that game is, I'm really looking forward to that game, and I just don't know what's taking them so long to be able to give us.
It's a small team, right?
It is a very small team, so I understand it. But I do think this is the year that we're actually going to get the release date for Silk Song. I think we're going to finally get an update on Outer Worlds 2. Kojima's game OD, I think we're going to finally get a chance to see that. I think Xbox is going to announce maybe it might be in a Call of Duty. No, I think it'll be in the Xbox showcase. I think all of the Call of Duties are going to get thrown into the backlog. I don't know how fast it's going to happen, but I think they're going to announce the back catalog. I wouldn't be surprised if it's literally right before the Call of Duty Direct for Black Ops 6 that they're going to announce what games are going into the Game Pass coffers for Call of Duty. I do think that all the Black Ops games are going to be in there because they're going to want people to probably partake in those games before 6 comes out, because I do hear that it's kind of heavily scripted together. I think they're finally going to break open out Everwild. And the one big one, I think, and this is why I think.
What do you mean break out Everwild? Mean like show gameplay?
Well, yeah, finally, break out and show Everwild gameplay. Yeah.
Okay.
I do think the reason Blizzard has been kind of quiet on a lot of things is because I do think they've been working on a console version of WoW for quite some time now. And I would not be surprised if they give a update in an announcement that WoW is finally coming to console gaming. And I don't think it's going to be exclusive to Xbox. I think it's going to go everywhere. I think
real quick, if that was the case, didn't they cancel BlizzCon this year?
They did.
So wouldn't if that was
do it?
Oh, so you think because they were going to show it here, then it's
no reason to have it there. That's part of the reason why they canceled BlizzCon.
Okay.
Yeah, if they were having BlizzCon, they would do it there. But they're not having BlizzCon this year. So I think it's like crazy that WoW hasn't been translated over to console yet, especially how far controller layouts and extra buttons and stuff that we have. And once Diablo was able to be moved over to console, I was like, wow, it's only a matter of time until they move WoW over, or a more simpler term of WoW. So I do think WoW is going to move. I think there will be benefits for people that are on Game Pass. But I do think WoW will be a game that that might be the one game they announce, if they do announce platforms, would be PlayStation. I think it will come everywhere. Coalition is going to be there to show off games. I just don't think they're going to be there to show off the game that people want them to show off in Gear 6. It's going to be to show off the remaster of the Gears trilogy. And then they're going to talk about more stuff in the future when it comes to Gear 6. State of Decay, like I said earlier, is about time for us to start seeing that. I do think that's going to be on the docket. Of course, we're going to see the Starfield DLC because Shattered Space is getting ready to come up very, very near future. I think it's slated for anywhere between September and October. So we're going to see that. And Avowed and Fable. Like Fable, I just want to see more gameplay. Like I don't want to see a cut together trailer. I kind of started looking at how you look at them now. Like these stylized trailers aren't enough anymore. I kind of I need more substance in the in what I'm seeing. So Fable being the game that they showed off last time, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what gameplay is actually going to look like and environments are going to look like. And I think we're going to, now I don't think we're going to get a date on Fable, but I do think we're gonna get a date on Avowed. When they show Avowed this time around, we're gonna get a complete and utter release date for that game too. So that's kind of what I think my little predictions are for the Xbox Showcase. The biggest one being WoW coming over to console for the first time ever. No date or anything or when it's going to happen, but they're going to announce that it's going to be available on multiple platforms when it does release.
Okay, so you did both. You did what you hope to happen and what you think will happen.
Yep,
okay.
I did both.
All right, so let me start with what I hope to happen. If y'all recall back in
word, Soma.
Yeah, true. Back in January, when all this talk about Xbox putting their games on PlayStation started, I said that if one game goes, it's no different than all games going. And I think, and I said that based upon what I knew would happen when it comes to the hardcore gaming community, or just like in the informed gamers thought process in the internet discourse, which is you're going to announce a game. You're going to have a showcase. You're going to do all these things. And with the question that will keep coming up is this coming to PlayStation? So how long is this exclusive? Is this a multi-platform game? And even if you didn't intend for said game to be multi-platform or even timed exclusive, it's just going to be straight up exclusive, console exclusive forever on that Xbox, then you can't put that genie back in the bottle. And what I think at this point, now that you've released four games that you at one point told the Xbox community will always remain timed exclusive, and now they're not, I think at this point it's time to just rip the Band-Aid off. So what I would hope they would do, for once, because they never tend to do, be clear with your intention. Be clear with what you're going to do, and be clear with where people stand in the future. Everyone knows where Nintendo stands. The games don't go nowhere officially. You want to play a Nintendo game? You know what you need to do. You need to buy a Nintendo piece of hardware. Although people don't like what PlayStation is doing, whether you're someone who don't want any of their games on PC, or whether you're someone who wants their games on PC day and date, everyone is clear on what PlayStation is doing right now. They may not all agree, but they know what they're doing. Nobody is clear on what Xbox is doing. And frankly, that has been the way for a while. No one has been clear on what direction they're going, because they change their mantra, their thesis statement. They change their focus every 2 years. So much so that even their own developers don't know what's going on. Own employees don't know what's happening. And so I hope, even though I don't think it'll happen, but it's a hope, that Sarah Bond or Phil Spencer will step out there. And we usually on these showcases don't like to see people talking. Just show us the games. Just hit us with the games, right? But I think this is a appropriate time to have one of the executives for Xbox step out on stage, look at the camera and the entire world in the face, and say what Xbox is doing. We're putting our games everywhere. And if it's going to be, these games are going to be timed exclusive on Xbox, then all right, let that be what the Xbox community can look forward to. Let that be what they know will happen, so they don't have to ask these questions. So when you show Contraband, is Contraband going to be console exclusive to the Xbox, or is it going to PlayStation, or is it going to be a multi-plat now? Like, there's no questions. Everyone knows. You owe your community at least that, and let them make the decision on whether, hey, I'm just going to go be all PC now, or hey, you know, I own an Xbox and a PlayStation, but now I see on PlayStation I can get all these games, whether they get them all at once or not, plus the PlayStation games. So I'm just gonna get a PlayStation. Like, if you really feel like, hey, every screen's an Xbox, and you really ain't got a problem with your games being over there, then you ain't got a problem telling the Xbox community what your plans are and letting them make the decision as a consumer of where they decide to play their games. So that's what one thing I would hope they would do. Now, another thing I hope to see Fable gameplay, although I don't think I will. But I would love to see Fable gameplay. I would like to see Perfect Dark gameplay. I'm not quite certain I will, though.
What the heck are you going to show at this showcase, then, Slow-Mo?
No, I'll get to that. I'll get to that part.
Okay, I got you.
I'll get to that part. And what? Yeah, I think that's really just all I hope to see. Maybe, yeah, I was about to say, nah, that's all I hope to see. What I intend on seeing, Double Fine showing off their new game. I expect to see that. I expect to see a remake for Quake 1 and 2. I expect to see gameplay for State of Decay 3 with a release date. Actually, no, I don't know about a release date. Maybe State of Decay 3 might get pushed back to next year. But I do think we'll see gameplay for that. I think we'll see gameplay for Clockwork Revolution and South of Midnight. I think we will get a teaser trailer for Gear 6. Nothing like super special, but they will show off a little bit of what the Coalition is doing with Unreal Engine 5. But we won't see like full-on gameplay like that. And then they also will announce the Gears collection. But I don't think they will mention PlayStation with the Gears collection. But I think that later on, maybe on this social media or blog post or whatever, we'll find out that the Gears collection is going to PlayStation. So those are the things that I think will happen. In addition to potentially another big game of theirs going over to the other platform as well. But maybe that won't be in the showcase. We'll see. But that's what I think will happen. Thoughts?
I mean, it's fair. I mean, you can look at it multiple different ways. I just feel like at a certain point, if you're not going to show, especially Fable, since you already showed it one time, I think it is about that time to show a deeper dive into the game. Perfect Dark they haven't shown anything Perfect Dark since they did that at this point make-believe trailer with her sitting on top of a building that could be extracted to be anything. So it's like, if you didn't know that was Perfect Dark, you wouldn't even know that they exist.
Right.
So I feel like those two games of all, like I agree with the other ones. I can see those being kind of hit or miss. I just feel like with Perfect Dark and with Fable, it's just about that time to like really, really showcase what those games are. Now, granted, if you're telling me the studios aren't ready to show anything, then that's fine. But that's also hadn't been the case, because we talked about how studios were telling Matt Booty that they weren't ready, and Matt Booty was like, "Oh, okay, go ahead, take all the time in the world." Whereas in the same,
you the boss, you the boss,
backslash Slow mo backslap was like, you need to walk in there and slap people and tell them, I need a trailer. I need
Right.
gameplay.
I'm like,
So they need to come with some gameplay.
I don't
at this event
care.
for those.
Yeah, I don't care that you don't want to show it. That's the
Right, exactly. I don't
you want to
care.
show it.
Let Sadia walk in there and say, I don't care if you don't want to show it. I want you to show it. Or I can
Right.
show you the door.
Yeah. But hey, you know, this is why I think they.
But make sure you look at the gameplay so to make sure you don't get sabotaged like you did with Halo.
Right, but see, but that's a problem, but a different problem, because
that's a different problem, right?
But because from what I heard is that they didn't even look at Halo Infinite. They just took the word
they just had full trust in 343
of the Halo Infinite lead director told them everything was great, and it wasn't. And
that was Chris Lee, right?
Yes. And they just trusted his word without even looking at it. And I'm like, that's negligence on your part as well. Sure, you can. Chris Lee fell on his sword on it. And, you know, they gave him the whole, hey, you're still here, but you don't really handle anything until he decided to leave. But, like, that's on him for misrepresenting where the game was at. But that's also on them for not having the wherewithal to actually look at it themselves and say, yo, you said this was good. This is not good. Like, you didn't look at this before you let it into your showcase? So that's on them too, but this Fable thing is on them in a different way, because it's like, I don't understand. Look, you have a job, and your job is to run first party games and provide games, and part of that job is also when your community, when your install base feels as if, whether it's perception or not, that there's not enough games coming out, or I don't know enough about what's coming out, and this is an issue with PlayStation right now as well. I don't want to hear the whataboutisms. I say this about PlayStation all the time. Where's a real showcase at, right? But if that is a perception of your community, that's also your fault. And around that time period, they needed to show people something to get them excited for the Xbox, what Xbox has in store. And instead of doing that, he allowed Playground to chump him, basically. Be like, I ain't showing nothing. Get on up out of here. Go back to the United States. Go ask someone else to show their game. And when you're the boss, that shouldn't be happening, man. And for him to be out and admitting that and acting like it was a good thing was just weird to me, but that's fine, you know. apparently that, you know, that gets you promoted. So what do I know? Anyway, I talking
about Xbox is the king of failing upward, huh?
Right. What do you think will be shown with the will be stated or shown at the Black Ops 6 Direct?
What did I think? What
do you think will be revealed or shown at the Black Ops 6 Direct?
Oh man, well, normally if we go off of what Call of Duty normally does, they would do a reveal of the game. Like it basically be a showcase of the graphics of the game, of how it looks and everything. That's normally what would happen. And then they would do a separate multiplayer stream later that shows off the multiplayer with deep dives into that with the zombie modes and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to get I honestly think you're going to get the whole thing. I think you're going to get I think you're going to get a showcase of both. You're going to get the graphics. You're going to get the showcase of the game, the characters. You're going to get multiplayer reveal, zombies. Because this is all done by Treyarch, and Treyarch is the kings of zombies. So I think that's going to be a good part of adding that in there too. Because there's really no reason to like hold it anymore, because the biggest thing with Call of Duty was really good at marketing itself throughout the year, but now that Xbox has full, and maybe this is a bad thing that Xbox has full marketing rights of it. If they could jack it up holistic.
Well, Activision has their own marketing department, which are fantastic. They do great marketing.
Xbox should use.
Yeah, they should have got promoted. Like when the acquisition happened, they should have been like, "Hey, look, you guys are running marketing for all of Microsoft gaming." Like that, right. I feel like that should have been a promotion for everybody involved there because they know what they're doing.
Right. The least, yeah, exactly. We're all Microsoft associates. You just happen to be new ones that just happened to get in and did a really good job, and we wanted to replace everybody else. But no, I think they're going to showcase everything. I think it's going to be the whole kit and caboodle, and I think they're going to do many showcases. Not like real showcases, but you're going to see the game showcased at different other events. Like I think they're going to showcase it at Summer Games Fest. They're going to show it off there again. I don't think you're going to get less content around Call of Duty being shown off throughout the rest of the year because that's such a big game, and they're going to want to at least keep the same cadence when it comes to showing it off. But when it comes to features, gameplay settings, all that type of stuff, I think they're going to do that all during the direct.
Okay. I agree with you about that, and I will also say, I know you mentioned this before, but I think it'll be around this time period that they would do this. Call of Duty and Game Pass, they already made the announcement that Call of Duty would be in Game Pass last week, I believe, and so I think this will be the revealing of when those games are going to be in, and I think that they will have them shadow. Well, the older ones shadow dropped into Game Pass during the direct. So as they're talking about it, and maybe near the end, they'll be like, and for the first time, Call of Duty will be joining Game Pass now, and they'll list off which ones are ready to go in, and then have like a release window for the rest of them. I think that I don't expect the gameplay you're seeing here right now. On my side of thing on the DPS channel is Modern Warfare 3. I do not think Modern Warfare 3 would be in there immediately. I think they'll have like the older ones in there. I think they want to, if they have the choice, they want to the most recent Call of Duty get a little bit more a sales tail before they put it in there, but it definitely will be in there before Black Ops 6 comes out. Just not with the first crop of Call of Duty games going in. Maybe we'll get 2 in there, but actually I would say probably definitely get 2 in there initially. I think all the older Black Ops will be in there, considering Black Ops 6 is on the way, and that's the brand new one. And then maybe like the Modern Warfare 2 remaster campaign and stuff like that. Like you'll get all of them in there eventually, but they'll stagger it.
I think they're gonna stagger it. I do think that all the Black Ops, I think everything like Black Ops all the way up to Black Ops 4 or Cold War, I should say, which is 5. I think those are all going to be in there. I think all the Modern Warfares are going to be in there with the exception of Modern Warfare 3. Part of the reason I believe these are all going to be in there, the least
popular ones will be in there first, like Infinite Warfare. Exactly. This is the best chance to get people to play that one, right? It's one of the least popular Call of Duties. Get it in there when there's least competition among the other Call of Duty games to prevent to keep people from playing it. So I think that one would be one of the first ones.
Well, the other reason I think they're going in there very soon is due to the fact that if you go on the Xbox store, they're having a publisher sale around Activision games on Xbox. So all the Call of Duties right now are on discount. So usually when you see something like that, that just means that they're clearing out, especially in the store setting, that just means they're trying to clear out inventory. In a setting for Xbox, when they put a bunch of games like that on sale, it almost is like a harbinger of what's to come, meaning that they want to capture as many sales on those games by discounting them as much as they can. before they put them into a service like Game Pass, because they know once it hits the service, you're drastically diminishing how much people are willing to buy for those games instead of going into the service, which helps Xbox both ways when it comes to physical sales of it or Game Pass. But when I saw that those games were anywhere on sale from 40 to 60% off, like right now, Black Ops Modern Warfare 3 is on sale for $45. So a lot of these games, and I don't, like you said, Modern Warfare 3 isn't going to go in there with the rest of them. I can see that game being the one. If Call of Duty is announced to come out in November, I can see October it being the game that's going to go in there, and maybe there'll be some incentive inside of Game Pass with the season pass, with the battle pass, that if you finish the battle pass, you get some type of discount on something, the next battle pass for the next Call of Duty. Who knows? They can do all types of different things when it comes to Game Pass implications and stuff, but it is going to come sooner rather than later due to a lot of the games being on discount right now on the store.
All right, now I think at this point we should address some of the rumors that are out there.
Yeah, let's do it.
So there's two particular. I would say both of these are pretty big. I think one is seems to people believe to be more plausible than the other. One I care about
more than the other.
Okay, so like let's tackle the less plausible one, the less likely one first. Mm-hmm. There's a rumor out there from, I don't know who this person is. Some people, I even forgot the name of the person that claimed to leak this, but there's a rumor out there that an Xbox handheld will be revealed, or some kind of handheld Xbox device will be revealed to showcase. Forte, you believe this, yes or no?
Nope, because I feel like, I just don't think it will be this soon. I think the next piece of hardware you're going to get from Xbox is a redesign of the Series X that we have now. Probably around those specifications of it being a digital platform when it comes to the leaks that we got from the FTC trial. So I think
it wouldn't surprise me if that is there. Like this all digital Series X that's white.
Yeah, the Series X in white. Yeah. I think that's the system that they're going to showcase and talk about. Now, I won't completely, say that there isn't a handheld on deck in the future, because I feel like the best way for Xbox to really get into that mobile ecosystem is to have a handheld of their own. I do think that is a better way to bring forth the reality of games that they want to. When it comes to playing games on the go, no matter where you are, I just don't think it's going to be this generation. I think that's going to be something that is going to mature itself over the course of the next couple of years. So I do think by the time the next Xbox comes out in 2027, 2028, I do think there will be a companion console with it, which will be a handheld at that point. So I don't think I'm not going to poo-poo on just the rumors and speculations of a handheld being a thing, because I do think that handheld would be a benefit to them and their ecosystem. But this also comes back to this too: is Xbox actually willing to allow third parties just to keep making them, like ROG and stuff like that, making the hardware for them, and they're just supporting the hardware with their offerings like Game Pass? You
mean like licensing out an Xbox OS, the Xbox branded, and having someone else like Asus or Logitech, Lenovo, someone else make it?
That could happen, but I just feel like Xbox just wants more control over the ecosystem if they kind of did it themselves. But that's what I would hope would happen. But we've seen all of these handhelds out here, and Xbox definitely isn't against licensing out their stuff to be able to put it on those platforms. They haven't been true native experiences outside of the ROG Ally when it comes to having Game Pass natively on the system. But I think if you want the full-blown Xbox experience when it comes to like UI and everything, that's something that Xbox is probably going to have to build and I think that would be a really good jumping off point for the next generation. Whereas you have a console that's a home console, and you have a console that bridges that gap. I can see like this generation with the X and the S, with Series S and X. If they wanted to do that again, but instead of having a low power home system, do a system on the go. Do the same thing that you just did now, but make a handheld system that people can take on the go with them anywhere. Because at that point, we're talking about two different, that is developing for a completely different ecosystem, and one doesn't have to cannibalize the other, you know, because you can basically make the games in a mobile space that they, you know, you're not really having the same vision that a game's going to run exactly the same on a mobile processor that it's going to run on a, you know, a physical die like a system on the SoC. So that's kind of where I think I want them to go, and I hope they do go. But I do think a handheld is in the future. I just don't think we're going to see a handheld this year. It's going to be that new redesign of the Xbox that got leaked out during the FTC trials. So that's where I think we're going to see this year.
Yeah, I can see that. And me personally, I think the earliest we'll probably see the Xbox handheld. Well, the earliest that they will launch.
Do you think the handheld's real?
Yes, I do. I do think it's real.
Yeah, handheld's real, bro.
But I don't think that we will see it until like next year. With with an anticipation of it releasing in 2026. That's why. So I think they'll show it like maybe at the VGAs again, like the VGAs of 2025, with it coming out in the fall of 2026. I think they need to get a lot of their ducks in a row. I think they've already decided on the architecture. I think they may be going away from AMD, but they may be going more ARM based. We'll see what happens. Yeah, more than likely it's the Xbox Series X refresh. That's all white. I think that's some hardware that we'll see during the show, but it's going to be no big deal. It's not going to be like there's a handheld or, you know, like that kind of thing. So let's get into
before you move to the last thing, with this, it was both being lock and step with the redesign being the system that got kind of leaked out in those documents. That was a digital only system. Do you think
it will be
forward Xbox is only digital?
Yes.
So no more, like any brand new system you buy going forward for Xbox is digital only.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate.
Their handheld will be all digital. This refresh for the Xbox Series X will be all digital. And I think they'll stop selling the black OG Series X. I don't think they're going to sell it no more. I think they already shut down the parts of ABK that handled distribution of like physical copies of games. Right. They are transitioning to a all digital future for Xbox. Also, something that you may want to do if you're potentially looking at, but not getting out of hardware, but transitioning your platform to be less about your specific box.
Right.
If you're caring less about having a dedicated hardware and you think of your platform of Xbox as more of like the way Valve looks at Steam, then you're probably not going to really care about distributing physical copies of games. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I think it still will be all digital, and I think that this Xbox Series X and S is the last piece of hardware that they'll have that actually has a physical copy for it. I think that was so. Loud Supremacy is saying it's the ABK physical division is still up. It was the Xbox physical division that closed. Oh, that makes sense because one's definitely selling copies, and the other one isn't doing as much. So that makes sense.
Down the ABK side of it due to the fact that they still have disc that they're going to be printing for a PlayStation, and I don't think you're.
Yeah, as well as last gen, because I think this
Yeah.
this Black Ops 6 is still going to be cross gen, which frankly I wish they would just let cross gen go, but whatever, right?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
I
selfish.
agree, 100%.
Let's tackle this other issue before we get
boy.
up out of here. There's another rumor, and this is I would say the first person to really mention this was probably Mag, middle-aged gamer. Shout out to him. And then it was also said by Hip Hop Gamer, and more recently today it was also said by Tom Warren that Halo is coming to PlayStation, and specifically what we're talking about is Halo Combat Evolved, the very first Halo, a remaster or remake of it. No one really knows for certain. Again, it's a rumor. Heading to PlayStation, and so Forte, let me let you have the mic for a moment, the podium for a moment. You seem very passionate about this in particular. What are your thoughts about this rumor?
Slow-mo, if this happens...
Well, first, hold on. First, do you believe it's true?
I always believed it was true. I just hoped it wasn't true.
Okay, now tell me how you feel about it.
If this happens, Xbox so the console of Xbox has already been diminished to the point where the console doesn't matter anymore, but the name Xbox still has some type of reverence to it because Xbox is, we bought into the Xbox ecosystem for particular reasons and stuff. It wasn't because of the console, it was because of the experiences like Xbox Live and friends and, taking your TV to other friends' houses, playing games like Halo. And for myself, I have a very unique situation on it because I was always a PC gamer. I play PC games all the time. And when Halo was first announced that it was going to be on PC, I went out and bought a graphics card that was recommended, which was the Voodoo 5000 graphics card. I bought that card day one. It came out. It had Halo on the back of it. And I was super excited. I said, yep, I'm ready for Halo when it comes out. Installed it in my computer and everything. And then later that year, that's when Xbox announced that they had purchased Bungie. And I was like, well, guess I'm buying an Xbox, because not knowing really anything about the game, I was super interested. I always been into first person shooters. The way the game looked, I was like, yo, this looks really cool. This looks really good. This looks really modern. I want to see what this game looks like. And it's only available on console. So I was buying an Xbox. And lo and behold, 20 years later, still one of the best playing FPS shooters you can play. It's definitely long in the tooth now, but it's still one of those games that you identify with a platform. So for myself, if they were to make this move and basically make Halo multi-plat outside of PC, then to me, what is Xbox really anymore other than just a vehicle that we have to play games at a cheaper price, to be able to, at that point it is just Game Pass. It's nothing but Game Pass at that point. And sure, that's fine. I'm not saying I'm going to cancel my Game Pass subscription because I do have it. I do see a value in it. I get games for a lot cheaper. My kids enjoy it. It's a really good value. But when it comes to what I like and what I would want to see, I want to see that identity kept. And I don't care about Gears as much as other people do. And some people are going to say, well, I feel the way you feel about Halo, I feel about Gears. And that's absolutely plausible. And if Gears was in this same situation, I would tell you the same thing. Once that happens, there's no reason for you to be in the Xbox ecosystem no more, because you can play those games in other places. I don't remember the last time I booted up Halo on my Xbox. I played it on my PC, but the fact that PC and Xbox is kind of always been the same, so I've always accepted that when it comes to the marketing, and ever since they started doing that in 2015. So that was fine. And I'm not trying to say that PlayStation gamers can't enjoy the game, because I want all gamers to enjoy games. But I feel like there is particular games that are on each platform that once you let those games go, for particular people, they loses its identity. I just happen to have one on each platform that is that for me. If Zelda, for some reason, wasn't available, if it was available on more things than just a Switch or a Nintendo, then that would kind of lose the identity, not as much as the other platforms because they still have a lot of other stuff like Mario, but Zelda's that game for me on Nintendo. God of War, I talk about all the time. The reason I bought the PlayStation 5, the reason I bought a PlayStation 4 was for God of War. If PlayStation was to come out here and say, we're going to put God of War on competing platforms in the near future, then I'm like, well, shoot, I don't have to buy a PlayStation anymore. I'll just buy the platform that's going to be available on, because the only reason I'm buying your system is for that. And Xbox was for Halo. That's the same thing it was. And it kind of matured and maturated over to other things. Like most of my friends list was over on Xbox. So crossplay wasn't really a thing anymore. So, I mean, crossplay wasn't a thing at the time. So you had to be on a particular platform with your friends. So even when Halo was god awful at some points, when Master Chief Collection came out, it still was a reason to own an Xbox because that's where my friends played at. But now we're in an ecosystem where it doesn't matter. You can play your games. Your friends can be on any platform. When me, Slow Mo and Surtaz, shout out to Surtaz, we're playing Call of Duty, we're playing on all three platforms. Slow-Mo's playing on PC, I'm playing on PlayStation, Taz is playing on Xbox, and that's fine. But the moment we start doing that to our beloved franchises like Halo and stuff, where the identity has been one place forever, then at that point you lose me as a consumer when it comes to like particularly caring about your platform only being that one thing that I'm buying that game for. Because at that point, there is nothing else there for you to buy. We're not just here to just waste our money just to say we own all these platforms. I like saying I own all the platforms because I can afford to have all the platforms, and that's cool. But if there's no reason for me to own said platform, then I'm not gonna buy it. So I hope Xbox doesn't do that, because I like how having Halo as an exclusive really makes the Xbox brand feel like it's still Xbox, because that's what made Xbox was Halo. Xbox didn't make Halo. Xbox was made because of Halo and what they were able to do. It was like a match made in heaven. So at a certain point, if they let that go, I'm gonna be highly disappointed, and I more than likely will get rid of my console right then and there. Maybe not, because I don't want to be a person that people says, oh, it's Forte, don't be a prisoner of the moment. There's still going to be other reasons to, have your Xbox. And I'm going to be like, why? I got a 4090. Do I really need an Xbox? Do I?
No, you don't.
You do. I really don't. But, and partly, and maybe this is something that needs to happen, because it will make people just decide to finally move on. But it still hurts me as a gamer to see Xbox take something that was, and it is not like they were forced out of it. They're not forced out of gaming like some people would say Sega was forced out of gaming, because they just couldn't compete anymore because of the circumstances that they were put in. Xbox can compete. Microsoft can help Xbox compete. But the moment that Xbox gets in a situation where I feel like they could possibly stand on their own 2 feet and be able to try to like reconcile or just get their gaming prowess in order, that's when Microsoft makes the decision to say, all of these games that you guys were making, we want to make them multi-plat everywhere. And that's kind of disappointing too. But in general, I just don't see what the future of a platform that doesn't have anything other than Game Pass to note. And for some people, that's going to be good enough. Game Pass is going to be a good enough entry point for people to still rock with Xbox. Even for myself, I'll still have Game Pass. But guess what? Game Pass is available on PC. So I don't need an Xbox even to interchange with that. So that's kind of where I sit on it. I'm just disappointed. If that did happen, Slow Mo, it's more, and I'll be 100% honest. This is more as a fan that my disappointment. People could come at me with numbers and logic and talk about how it's better for Halo that this happens. And I'm going to tell you, you know what? You are probably absolutely right. But as a person that literally went out and bought platforms for that game to be taken away and saying that it's going to be somewhere else, then the identity of the thing that I thought it was for is completely dead at that point. For me, at least, at that point.
Yeah,
But go
I
ahead,
feel you,
Smoker.
man. Do I believe this rumor? Yes, I do. I do believe the rumor that Halo Combat Evolved is heading to PlayStation. It is weird to think about that there are certain intellectual properties that are kind of synonymous with a brand. Mario and Nintendo. Kratos and PlayStation. Halo and Xbox. Even more so than Gears. And you're right. Maybe it's a generational thing, because there's some people who jumped in on Xbox on the 360 generation, and I can understand them feeling a kind of way towards Gears more than Halo. But for me, it was Halo. Halo Combat Evolved in particular has a special place in my heart, because I recall staying up nights from all the way till the sun comes up, playing with friends in System Connect, and just having a wonderful time with those games. And I think about those times like as if they were yesterday, and they were half a lifetime ago for me. And it's not fanboying to say it just doesn't feel right that you could be able to play Halo on a PlayStation with a DualSense. It just seems weird. Like playing Legend of Zelda on the Xbox would just feel weird.
Right.
And I think this decision is being made because there are people at Microsoft that don't understand entertainment. They don't understand how brands and entertainment work, and they don't understand the gaming community overall. And this is why they would make this kind of decision. They don't understand it. They don't care to understand. They don't want to understand how gamers feel about things, and they don't value the Xbox community the way they value the PlayStation community. Freaking Satya Nadella out here doing interviews and bragging about how his game's doing on PlayStation. You want to talk about Xbox? At all, buddy?
Right.
A little bit? Just mention the word Xbox, please? It's just weird. But that's the reality of things. And there's nothing more that we can do about it but make a decision as a consumer, because that's what we are. We're consumers. Make a decision on what we choose to do with this new reality that is Microsoft gaming, and how you're going to go about it. Does that mean I'm not going to play the next Halo game? No, I'm going to play the next Halo game. But like I play Halo Infinite, I'm going to play it on PC. And the reason why I'm playing these games on PC is when you give me choices where I can have a superior experience on my PC and I have no need for an Xbox, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a superior experience on my PC and I have no need for an Xbox. If you are a primarily console gamer and you have zero desire to ever play on a PC, and you have any interest in any of the games that are first party for Xbox, they have given you less incentive to buy an Xbox, even as a secondary piece of hardware. And I know there are people who say, oh, well, that's not the kind of consumer that they want anyway. They don't want someone that's just going to buy the hardware just for exclusives, and they're not going to get like a lot of either long-term subscription money out of them, or but them buying third-party games on the on that Xbox platform. I'm like, getting something's better than nothing. And I know they look at that and say, well, yeah, getting something is better than nothing. That's why we feel like they're never going to buy an Xbox, so we're going to put our games over there so we get something instead of nothing. But if you just stay the course, and I think you mentioned it about like how they were so close and now they're getting all these games and they got like all this cadence of games coming out and they got all these publishers and developers under their belt. And it's like right when you were about to really entice gamers to come over here to get their games. Where the PlayStation is a little dry, you got a bunch of content all coming out that's very like different. It's a different variety of games that can touch a number of different demographics, and you chose to just put your games over there. Well,
you chose to help them out.
Yeah, it's what it is. You know, it's
yeah, it is.
I hate to see it, but it's their choice to do with this. They would much rather, it seems, they would much rather be Steam, a version of Steam and Tencent, where they're a massive third-party publisher on every platform. And as far as a first-party platform, they make boutique kind of devices like this Xbox handheld. Don't expect this to be cheap. I think this thing will be in the $600 range.
Oh yeah, easily.
Look at what other PC handhelds cost. This is going to be a PC handheld. And this is going to do more as far as what features goes and whatnot, and trying to bring over the console gamer into this slightly different kind of ecosystem by also being forward compatible and then backwards compatible with your Xbox library. If you're coming from, if you have a big massive Xbox library to begin with, I don't expect this thing to be cheap at all.
And that might be honestly the best too.
Yeah, but there's also, when you make something that's super expensive, you also don't make a lot of it.
Oh no, you're absolutely that thing's gonna be a back order a lot.
Yeah, like Steam, the Valve Index is a $1,000 VR headset. It stays sold out for like 6 to 8 months when it came out, but they didn't make a large quantity of them. That's why it was sold out. Because they kind of figured with it being $1,000, there's going to be a very specific segment of people who are going to buy that. And I think that like I think in a way they do take their Xbox community for granted. There's still people out here saying it's only just going to be 4 games, like in denial. The same way that they were like the same people that were saying they put no games on PlayStation. Like they just keep moving the buck down the road, keep kicking the ball down the road, living in denial. They just take advantage of these people's loyalty. And you'll still get those guys that will be hardcore on this Xbox handheld. Even though they were the same ones talking about power and talking about how the Xbox Series X was going to have this delta over the PS5, damn well the PC handheld is going to be more powerful than the PS6. Maybe not even more, probably like not even maybe, definitely probably not even more powerful than the PS5. And so that's just the reality of it all. And they don't want to see that, but they will keep being loyal to the platform, and I think they take advantage of that. I think they expect those people to spend $600-700 on a handheld just because it's Xbox. And they have an idea of how big that community is, and they will make enough to satisfy that community, and the rest will likely go to like, hey Asus, for your ROG Ally 2, you want to use this Xbox OS instead of Windows 11? Bet. Hey, Lenovo, you want to use this Xbox OS instead of Windows 11? Bet. This is why Phil Spencer is talking about getting itch.io and Epic Game Store into integrated into the Xbox storefront, because they're trying to be Steam. They're trying to be a different kind of platform. They're trying to get in, and in a lot of ways I understand it. Like, if you feel like you can't beat Sony at their game, then you change the game to something that you can win at. I get that.
Yeah.
But I also kind of feel like there are just certain things that you can't do in the gaming industry and expect to, like, there are consequences to actions that you take. And you can't just do any and everything that you want to expect things to remain static. I think this will absolutely kill the Xbox brand. I mean, it's not worldwide, it's not the strongest brand in the world anyway, but and you look at, like, kids find PlayStation cool. They don't find Xbox cool. It's like the old guys. And you're not helping yourself. Like, you have an image issue. You don't help yourself when you do these kind of things. And I don't think they've been helping themselves with their image for a long time. And I don't think they quite understand how that kind of stuff works, but it is what it is, man. You ready to lock this up? Put this one in the books?
Sir. I am ready.
Appreciate everybody for coming through. Appreciate everybody for coming through. We appreciate you guys. To reiterate once again how things are going to go, there won't be a podcast next Thursday. There will be a podcast, our reaction to the Xbox Showcase and subsequent Q&A live with Phil Spencer. We will likely go live around 4 p.m. on Sunday, so please come through. It will be on this channel, the DPS channel. It won't start on one of our other channels. It'll just be on this channel, so look out for that notification. And we hope you guys enjoy your weekend and the rest of your week. Forte, go ahead and knock out your outro.
Yeah, definitely. Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Like Slomo said, really appreciate everybody coming through and hanging out with us. It's always great to have you guys here, and let's hope that Xbox puts a great showcase together, because they have a lot of good things to show, and a lot of stuff that we're all looking forward to seeing. So with that, I appreciate all of you guys. And when it comes to channel members, I have MASH, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Texas, Corey Hale, your boy Roy, Donnell Brown, Ramon Terrell, Hargy Shanice, Slow-Mo Backslap, DJ Oris, and That Guy Smitty. Really appreciate you guys for that. And also just an update. So as you guys already know, anybody that is supporting on myself and Slow-Mo's channel, we won't be able to move badges or anything like that over. But the things that I'm working on for a new overlay and background for the show, it's going to have a ticker for anybody that is already subscribed to either one of our channels. And that's going to basically be an evergreen ticker. I don't know how we're going to implement it yet. Maybe I'll just have it blended into the background so people's names just show periodically in the background of the game for anybody that was subscribe to us that way on either one of our channels, so it's immortalized there. So you can still be a part of that. Once we make the full switch over, whatever count we have for people that are subscribed to us that way will be the people that we will add into that list. So if that is something that you're interested in, all you gotta do is either subscribe to my channel under membership or Slow-Mo, doesn't matter which one. Because we appreciate the support either way. But that's how we're going to give back to all those people that were able to support us that way, so they can live on with DPS on the new channel when we start that one up too. So just wanted to give an update on that for anybody that was probably wondering how it was going to work. But once we make that transition, you guys will know exactly how it's happening. But appreciate all you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the games you're playing, and we'll see you next week on Sunday.
All right, and I'll get my side of the channel members done real quick. Shout out to Arcade, Chris Coleman, Homie One Kenobi, Fake Man Bear Pig. I like that. Brian East, Stardust Acero, K Asante. Shout out to the Game and Circle podcast. Legendary Yobi. He is legendary. Neil S, Texas, your boy Roy Corey, Hale, Donnell Brown, J387, Enrique Hargeet, Shani, Ramon Terrell, Gaming Forte, and that guy Smitty. Appreciate you guys. We're going to be out. We will see you guys Sunday, and you guys can tell me how right I was on my prediction. All right. Peace.
Peace, guys.